Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It is Marvin speaking. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. And it's the middle of the week, the Wednesday. So we're going to go back to Daniel Martell of Nova Scotia, in the stepfather of 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan, two children who went missing from their home in rural Pictou County on May the 2nd, 2025. He has been a frequent subject of media coverage and online speculations regarding the disappearance. But he keeps coming out. I mean, basically, yesterday, obviously, the video that I put out, he was in conversation with a cadaver dog handler who wanted him to make a confession that he killed the kids, which is quite bizarre. And I don't know how true that is, but that's from a channel that I follow who actually talks to Daniel. And like I said, I'm sure something would have come up of it if it was true or not true. But like I said, you would have thought the police officer may have said something, or someone talked to Daniel about it. Let's go through some of the points. Estrangement from partner. Martell and the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, have been estranged since the day after the children vanished. Official investigations, the children remain missing, and the RCMP continue to investigate. So that's the ongoing case. And like I said, a lot of us do know about the case and when they were missing, and obviously the run up into where we are today. So Daniel is going on a lot of shows recently. I'm actually going to see whether I can get him on Streamline Entertainment to see what he's got to say about the case and where he is. We got to remember he's not being convicted of anything, but you have to wonder why he's basically on a sort of a crusade to say that he's innocent. Surely just keeping your head down and just liaising with the police is sometimes enough to go on. And sometimes when you're on these shows and these children haven't been found, you're going to put more pressure on yourself in being a suspect, I think personally. Whereas sometimes have a bit of a middle ground, but like I said, he seems to be popping up on everywhere. In some ways, maybe I don't know what's in his mind or what he's actually thinking or what he thinks he can get out of it. But like I said, the only thing that's going to basically tell us the full story is where these children are. Sadly, if they're unalive, we would like to know the circumstances in how they died, and number two, if they are alive, where they are now. But a lot of people are sort of leaning towards trafficked at the moment, but there's no proof of that at all. Let's get straight into this.
Searching out there, how long was the dogs while you were there? Obviously, they were there for a little bit before you got there, but how long were they there on your property while you were there?
Um, 3 hours maybe. That was only one dog. The very first day there was only one dog
And did
on the property. It was a black shepherd.
and did the handler have him on a leash, or did he let him free roam?
They free roamed while they were in the yard, but when they took them onto the paved road, they had them on leashes. The leashes were like just rope that was like 20 feet long or something like that.
Good deal. And so the first day comes, they search, and it was just one dog. They leave. Second day comes in. Is it a different dog? Is it the same dog? Or
They brought in. I believe on the second day they brought in both dogs.
Okay. And they searched it at the same time, or was it one after another?
They had them. They were both. I kind of want to say both together, but like they weren't walking right over each other's footprints, right?
Gotcha.
So.
And so they search out there. How long were they there on the second day?
On the second day, they did 3 or 4 hours too, but they left a little bit earlier because they wanted to go back and do the pipeline and stuff too, right?
Gotcha.
So.
And free roam again off the leash in the property?
Yeah, whenever they were on the property, they were always free roam.
So that was a little bit of Daniel basically talking to Drunk Turkey, who's got a massive channel. Joanne says in the chat, I think they were abducted. I've thought it from the beginning. It's kind of strange that Daniel's turning up on all these shows. And I mean, if he's innocent, fair play to him, because I think, you know, if you're innocent, prove it. But like I said, sometimes I think he's over emphasizing that he should be out there and telling people what he knows or trying to work this case out. It just seems a little bit weird to me. Why would you do that? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously Malaya has, you know, talked to once to, you know, on the Action News, and she hasn't really come out and said anything again. Maybe she said bits and bobs on Facebook and stuff like that, but nothing major coming out to the news or going on channels like Daniel is. I know some of the family have discussed this conversation, but like I said, you want to believe him, but there's always something in the background makes you think, is he all right, if that makes sense? Let's move on to part two. Going to move on to part two, and Drunk Turkey is talking basically to Daniel about the CPS side of things.
Now, speaking of CPS, there's been a lot of speculation about the kids having been visited by CPS and things of that nature. Can you clear that up? Like, you know,
I will actually clear that up. I cleared it up many times online, but there's still people that seem to have misconceptions on that. So CPS actually did come to the house, and that was about Jack and Lily's behavior, especially at school. And then they were about to be diagnosed with, or be sent for the diagnosis of autism. The school wanted that, and me and Malaya wanted that as well. The main reason why CPS came out is to, you know, give us phone numbers and give us some instruction and who could we go to learn more about dealing with their behaviors.
So it had nothing to do with a black eye.
Interesting. So what I'll do tomorrow, I'll put the full video out so we can sort of look into that and really sort of diagnose it, should I say, in what Drunk Turkey and the questions that he asked Daniel. But for me, it's absolutely a little bit bizarre in that he's coming out, you know, technically every day now on different podcasts, and maybe, like I said, he hasn't got anything to hide and he feels relaxed, and that he's done nothing or doesn't know anything at the end of the day. But I find it bizarre, because if my stepchildren, you know, if I had stepchildren at the end of the day went missing at the end of the day, I would be helping the RCMP, but sometimes I'd want peace and quiet as well and come out now and again. That's probably the best thing to do. I understand he has to come out, but it seems like to me is overemphasizing that I'm innocent. And like I said, you heard at the end there, Drunk Turkey mentioned the black eyes. And obviously you would imagine Daniel's going to say, look, that's got nothing to do why the CPS had come out. I just find it a little bit strange in that Daniel's turning up on all these shows. Let me know what you think, people. I want to sort of believe he's innocent at the end of the day, and proven at the end of the day. I think I mean, in some cases you actually think he's a little bit simple, but he's not. And in other ways, he comes across as very sort of articulate. He knows the land very, very, very well and comes across very, very intelligent. It's hard to know how to take him. It really, really, really is. And I think this is why people are sitting on the fence. Did he do anything to the kids or not? We must remember that he's not being done for anything. He's not been arrested. And anything the police have asked, his phones and bank accounts and stuff, he's actually provided them and liaised with the police at the end of the day. And he hasn't gone on the run. He hasn't done anything. He's basically still fighting his corner. And you've got to respect that if he is innocent. But we don't know that at the moment because the kids haven't been found. Let me know what you think, people, because like I said, I think this case is hotting up a little bit again.